Hi, my name is Preston Hagans, and this is going to be my snake oil or science presentation on Dynaprost, more commonly known as Lutalyse. Lutalyse is the synthetic production of the hormone prostaglandin F2 alpha, which is normally produced in the uterus during the estrous cycle. It causes the destruction of the corpus luteum. There are two main reasons you would want this in livestock. The first off is for synchronization, and the second is for abortion. Synchronization is defined as the process of regulating the estrous cycles of your animals so that they all ovulate within the same 48-hour period, 24 to 48-hour period. It's done by giving intramuscular injections of Lutalyse. It causes Lutalysis, which is the destruction of the corpus luteum. After that is destroyed, the estrous cycle restarts, so you can time ovulation with this. Synchronization just means timing the ovulation about the same time, within about 48 hours. It's usually used in conjunction with GnRH, or gonadotropin-releasing hormone, just because that encourages new follicular development and helps speed up the process of forming a new corpus luteum. So an experiment published in the Physiology journal in 1995 helped to prove this. 2,020 cows were treated with an initial GnRH injection. 100% of them developed either an accessory corpus luteum or a new corpus luteum. After that, they were given the standard 25 milligram dose of Lutalyse, which caused 100% of them to experience total regression of that corpus luteum. Immediately after that, they were given another GnRH injection, and then they exhibited full resurgence of the corpus luteum within 48 to 72 hours. So a fully functioning corpus luteum had been formed no more than 3 days after that injection. This means that they probably ovulated within about 48 hours of the initial Lutalyse injection, and so they were all on the same time frame. Studies like that have been done in other species such as mares and swine. Granted, in swine it is used mostly to induce labor versus synchronization, but it has been proven that you can synchronize both of those species as well. The second reason that you would use it in livestock is for abortion, which is the termination of a pregnancy. As you know, pregnancy is maintained by the hormone progesterone, and progesterone is produced mostly by the corpus luteum during the estrous cycle. So, when that corpus luteum is destroyed, progesterone levels drop, and the body doesn't produce enough progesterone to maintain a pregnancy, so it's terminated. As we discussed earlier, Lutalyse does cause luteolysis, so after that's destroyed, it makes it impossible to maintain a pregnancy. There are several different reasons you might want this for your livestock animals, or even your pets. One example from my own personal experience is in the clinic we had 2 dogs that were litter mates. They were left intact and they were left together for too long, so they copulated and the female became pregnant. So obviously that's kind of a quality of life risk for those pups. So we went ahead and administered Lutalyse to abort those babies. Additionally, if, say, your female wasn't big enough and she's going to have issues during parturition, she was bred to the wrong male, that you maybe has undesirable genetics, something like that, other reasons you might want to abort. Another thing to consider with Lutalyse is the cost, and really it's pretty cost effective. It's very affordable. Prior to 2015, it was even less affordable, particularly for cattle producers. So it usually comes in a 100 ml bottle, and the concentration is 5 mg per ml, which is fine for swine because they don't require a huge dose, and it really is okay for mares as well. But cattle require a 25 milligram dose of Lutalyse standard. So for a maximum amount of doses, it's going to be 20 doses out of that 100 ml bottle. Even then, it was affordable, but cattle producers were not getting as much bang for their buck as other producers were. So in 2015, Zoetis came out with a new product called Lutalyse HC. The HC stands for just higher concentration. Instead of a 5 milligram per milliliter concentration, it's a 12.5 milligram per milliliter concentration. So a 100 ml bottle, which could previously only be used for 20 doses, could now be used for 125 doses. Additionally, it's marketed for subcutaneous use. So cattle producers didn't have to worry quite as much about loss of carcass after giving intramuscular injections. So it really was a win all around. The only downside to it is that it's only FDA approved for cattle. So swine and equine producers can't quite make use of this product yet. They're probably getting there, though. Lutalyse is only becoming more and more cost effective as it continues. Once they can get this approved for more species, it's going to be cheaper for everyone all around. The last thing you really want to consider with any drug is going to be animal welfare. And so we want to look at the side effects of the drug for that. I have a list here. Really, there's not that many side effects for most species. Bovine have almost no side effects. Occasionally, they get bacterial infections at the site of injection, and there's some limited salivation as well. But as long as you're giving a normal dose, those are the only side effects that you can even really see. They're the only ones who have been reported. At 5 to 10 times the recommended dose, there has been some hyperthermia. But again, that's an overdose. So if you're being prudent, you're not going to experience that. Equine have a little bit more side effects. They're all very, very mild, such as ataxia, abdominal pain, that sort of thing. But they've all been reported to resolve within about 60 minutes. Porcine have more side effects than others, at least as far as livestock is concerned. They generally resolve within 3 hours, though. So it includes things like dyspnea, increased salivation, muscle spasms, that sort of thing. But they're very mild, they don't occur super often, and they resolve within about 3 hours. Canines and felines have the most side effects out of any species, but really they're mostly dose dependent. So as long as you're being prudent with it, you're not going to see very many of these, but it's worth noting that death does occur more in these two species, particularly in dogs. So they should be monitored very closely as far as cardiorespiratory and that sort of kind of symptom. As long as you're being prudent, though, you shouldn't have any issues with this drug. So, in conclusion, there's been enough studies done on this drug, and it's been used for so long by veterinarians and producers worldwide that it's been proven. To call it snake oil would be absurd. The only way to describe it is sound science. Thank you for your time and consideration.